Imagine a place where colorful harborside houses look like they were painted from a storybook, where palaces and castles stand next to futuristic architecture, and where bicycles outnumber cars. The first sight many visitors fall in love with is Nyhav, the old harbor. Brightly painted townhouses line the canal, their reflections shimmering on the water, while old wooden ships bob gently at the docks. Once a busy commercial port, Nyhav today is the city's most picturesque district, filled with cafes, restaurants, and the spirit of Danish hygge. Sit by the water with a coffee or a plate of smørrebrød, and you'll feel what makes Copenhagen so special: the balance of history, beauty, and relaxation. Just a short walk from Nyhav stands one of Denmark's most iconic symbols, the Little Mermaid statue. Inspired by Hans Christian Andersen's famous fairy tale, she gazes quietly out to sea, small yet unforgettable. Tourists from across the world gather here, not because of her size, but because of what she represents: imagination, dreams, and the enduring power of Danish storytelling. But Copenhagen is far more than fairy tales. It is also a city of royalty. Rosenborg Castle, built in the early 1600s, rises like a jewel in the heart of the city. Surrounded by the King's Garden, it houses Denmark's crown jewels, each one a dazzling reminder of the nation's royal legacy. Not far away is Amalienborg Palace, the home of the Danish royal family. Every day at noon, you can watch the changing of the guard in the grand courtyard, a tradition that connects today's monarchy with centuries of history. Yet, Copenhagen is not stuck in the past. It is also a city of bold modernity. The Copenhagen Opera House, with its futuristic design, sits on the harbor as a symbol of Denmark's commitment to art and innovation. The Black Diamond, a striking extension of the Royal Library, gleams with glass and granite, its bold lines reflecting the water around it. These buildings show how Copenhagen embraces the future without losing sight of its heritage. Another part of the city's magic lies in its neighborhoods. Vesterbro, once gritty and industrial, has transformed into one of the coolest districts in Europe, filled with creative spaces, galleries, and nightlife. Christianshavn, with its canals and colorful houses, feels like a piece of Amsterdam in Denmark. And then there's Freetown Christiania, a self-proclaimed autonomous neighborhood filled with street art, music, and a spirit of freedom. Walking through Christiania is like stepping into another world, one that embodies Copenhagen's openness and creativity. Of course, no visit to Copenhagen is complete without experiencing Tivoli Gardens. Opened in 1843, Tivoli is one of the world's oldest amusement parks, and still one of its most magical. With its twinkling lights, charming rides, and lush gardens, it has inspired visitors for generations, including Walt Disney, who famously drew inspiration for Disneyland from Tivoli's enchanting atmosphere. By day, it's a family-friendly escape. But by night, when lanterns and fireworks light the sky, Tivoli becomes pure wonder. What ties all of Copenhagen together is its people and their way of life. This is a city where bicycles glide past on dedicated lanes, where locals gather in open-air markets, and where sustainability is part of daily culture. Copenhagen aims to become the world's first carbon-neutral capital, with green rooftops, wind power, and urban design that prioritizes both people and the planet. It's a place where innovation and tradition don't compete, they complement each other. And then, of course, there is the food. Copenhagen is home to some of the world's finest restaurants, including Noma, often ranked as the best restaurant on earth. But you don't need a Michelin star to taste Denmark's flavors. Street food markets like Reffen bring together global cuisines with a Danish twist, creating a dining experience that is casual, creative, and unforgettable. Copenhagen is not just Denmark's capital, it is Denmark's soul. It is where fairy tales meet modern architecture, where history stands beside innovation, and where every street seems to invite you to slow down, explore, and enjoy. Whether you're wandering through royal palaces, cycling by the canals, or sharing a meal with friends, Copenhagen gives you more than sights. It gives you an experience of life lived fully. From the capital, our journey will now take us west to Denmark's second largest city, a place of art, history, and youthful energy, where the past and present dance together. Next, we discover Aarhus, the city of smiles. Can a city be both Denmark's oldest and its youngest at the same time? Explore Aarhus Art Museum with the rainbow panorama, the Latin Quarter, Den Gamle By, Old Town Museum, and the city's lively student culture. What if I told you there's a city in Denmark where every street seems to smile back at you? A place where ancient Viking history collides with futuristic design, and where cozy cafes are just steps away from some of the world's most innovative art? Welcome to Aarhus, the city of smiles, and Denmark's cultural capital. Located on the east coast of Jutland, Aarhus is Denmark's second largest city, yet it has the warmth and charm of a small town. It's young, vibrant, and alive thanks, in part, to its massive student population, but also because it has mastered the art of blending old traditions with modern creativity. Walking through Aarhus feels like stepping into a living timeline, where every corner has a story to tell. To understand Aarhus, you have to begin with its roots. The city was founded by Vikings more than 1,000 years ago, and traces of that history remain in the old town, or Den Gamle By. This open-air museum is unlike any other. Step inside and you'll find yourself wandering through centuries of Danish life, from cobblestone streets and timber-framed houses of the 16th century to 1,970 seconds interiors that feel like a time machine come to life. Here, history isn't something you read about. It's something you touch, feel, and walk through. But Aarhus isn't just about looking back. It's about looking forward. Nowhere is this more evident than at Aarhus Art Museum, one of the largest art museums in Northern Europe. The building itself is a masterpiece of modern architecture, but its crowning jewel is your rainbow panorama, a circular walkway of glass in every color of the spectrum that floats above the city's skyline. Step inside, and you're bathed in shifting colors as you look out over Aarhus, an experience that feels like walking inside a rainbow. It's not just art. It's a reminder that perspective changes everything. A short walk from Aarhus is the futuristic Dock 1, Scandinavia's largest public library and cultural center. With its sleek design and expansive harbor views, Dock 1 isn't just a place for books. It's a hub of creativity, technology, and community life. This spirit of blending culture with modern living is what makes Aarhus stand apart. And yet, for all its modern energy, Aarhus also has a softer, quieter side. Take a stroll along the Aarhus River, which flows through the city center. Lined with cafes, bars, and restaurants, it's the perfect place to enjoy a meal or simply watch the city go by. The atmosphere here is casual, friendly, and filled with that unmistakable Danish hygge, the art of coziness and contentment. For those who love the sea, Aarhus is also a coastal gem. Just beyond the city lies an endless stretch of sandy beaches and forests. On a summer day, you'll find locals swimming, sunbathing, and sailing along the shores, while in autumn and winter, the coastline becomes a quiet, meditative escape. A quick trip north takes you to the Marslisborg Forest, a peaceful place for hiking or cycling beneath towering trees. Of course, no mention of Aarhus is complete without talking about its royal connection. Marslisborg Palace, the summer residence of the Danish royal family, sits just outside the city, surrounded by beautiful gardens that are open to the public when the royals are away. It's a serene spot where history, nature, and monarchy come together in perfect harmony. But perhaps what truly makes Aarhus shine is its atmosphere. This is a city that welcomes everyone with open arms, where creativity thrives in every corner. Its festivals, like Aarhus Festuge, the largest cultural festival in Scandinavia, fill the streets with music, art, and performances that transform the city into a giant stage. It's in moments like these that you feel Aarhus's energy, its passion, and its unique personality. And then there's the food. Aarhus is Denmark's gastronomic powerhouse, with Michelin-starred restaurants standing alongside street food markets. Aarhus street food, set in an old bus garage, brings together flavors from around the world, all under one roof. But don't leave without trying Danish classics, open-faced sandwiches, fresh seafood, and pastries that melt in your mouth. Here, dining isn't just about eating. It's about celebrating life, culture, and togetherness. Aarhus is not just a city, it's a feeling. It's the smile of a stranger as you share a bench by the river, the sound of laughter echoing from a cafe, the way art and history flow seamlessly together. It is Denmark's cultural heart, and it beats with joy, warmth, and creativity. From the fairy tale capital of Copenhagen to the youthful energy of Aarhus, Denmark has already shown us two very different faces of its wonder. But our journey is just beginning. Next, we leave the city behind and head to a magical place of cliffs, legends, and raw, natural beauty. Coming up, the Island of Men and the breathtaking Men's Klint highlight Andersen's childhood home, Odense Cathedral, museums, and cobblestone streets. Connect literature to Danish identity. What if I told you there's a place in Denmark where time itself is written into the earth, where towering white cliffs rise dramatically from the sea, and every layer of chalk tells the story of millions of years? Welcome to the Island of Men, home to Men's Klint, one of Denmark's most breathtaking natural wonders, and a destination that feels like stepping into a living masterpiece. Men's Klint is unlike anything else in Scandinavia. These striking chalk cliffs stretch for nearly 7 kilometers along the island's eastern coast, plunging as high as 120 meters into the turquoise waters of the Baltic Sea. Standing at the edge, looking down at the waves crashing against the base, you feel both small and infinite at the same time. It's a place where nature shows its raw power and delicate beauty all at once. Formed more than 70 million years ago, the cliffs are made almost entirely of chalk, created from the remains of tiny sea creatures that once lived in a prehistoric ocean. Over time, these remains compacted into limestone, and glacial movements pushed them upward, sculpting the majestic walls we see today. For geologists, Men's Klint is a treasure trove of ancient history, but for travelers, it is simply awe-inspiring. A reminder of how small we are compared to the planet's vast timeline. One of the most magical experiences here is walking down the wooden stairways that lead from the cliff tops to the pebble-strewn beaches below. As you descend, the view changes with every step: the turquoise sea, the stark white walls, the green forest above. On the beach, the cliffs tower over you like giants. It's here, among the stones, that fossil hunters search for remnants of ancient creatures. Ammonites, sea urchins, and even the occasional mosasaur tooth have been discovered here, hidden within the chalk, waiting to tell their story. But Men's Klint is not just about geology, it is also about life. The surrounding forests are rich with wildlife, from rare orchids to butterflies that thrive in this unique ecosystem. The dark, fertile soil created by the chalk makes the island one of Denmark's richest natural landscapes, home to species that cannot be found anywhere else in the country. Walking through the beech forests that hug the cliffs, you are enveloped by a sense of peace, broken only by birdsong and the sound of the wind through the trees. Perhaps one of the most unforgettable experiences on Men comes at night. Far from the glow of city lights, the skies above Men's Klint are some of the darkest in Europe. The island is part of a dark sky park, where the Milky Way spreads across the heavens in dazzling clarity. To lie on the cliffs beneath the stars is to feel completely connected to the earth below and the cosmos above. It's no wonder stargazers and dreamers from all over the Blash world come here to witness this celestial show. For those who seek adventure, Men offers more than just views. The island is crisscrossed with hiking and cycling trails that wind through villages, fields, and coastline. Kayaking along the base of the cliffs offers a perspective few ever see: the towering chalk walls glowing golden in the morning light, mirrored in the calm waters of the Baltic. Each angle of Mons Klint feels like a new discovery, a secret revealed only to those willing to explore. Beyond its natural wonders, the island of Møn also tells a story of human history. Small villages with charming thatched roof cottages dot the landscape, each one preserving the traditions of rural Danish life. The medieval church of Fanefjord is famous for its colorful frescoes, some of the finest in Denmark, painted nearly 500 years ago. Together, they reveal a land where nature and culture exist in harmony, where beauty comes not just from the cliffs, but from the people who call this island home. And then, there's the quiet rhythm of life here. Unlike the bustling streets of Copenhagen or the vibrant energy of Aarhus, Møn moves at its own pace. It invites you to slow down, to breathe, to listen to the waves, the birds, the silence. It's a reminder that travel isn't always about doing more, but about experiencing more deeply. Mons Klint is not just a destination, it is a wonder of Denmark. It is where time, nature, and humanity intersect, creating a place that feels both ancient and alive. To stand at the edge of the cliffs, looking out over the endless sea, is to feel the same awe that generations before us have felt and that generations after us will continue to feel. From the dramatic cliffs of Møn, our journey takes us north, to another land shaped by both nature and history, a place where Viking ships once ruled the seas, and where open-air museums bring that legendary past to life. Next, we explore Roskilde, the city of kings, cathedrals, and Vikings. Include Aalborg Castle, waterfront, street art, and the Aalborg Carnival. Blend Viking heritage with vibrant urban culture. Imagine standing in a place where the echoes of Viking warriors meet the solemn silence of royal tombs, where the past is not just remembered but brought vividly back to life. This is Roskilde, a city where Denmark's ancient soul beats strongest. Just a short journey from Copenhagen, Roskilde is one of Denmark's oldest cities, and it remains one of its most fascinating. The first thing that strikes you about Roskilde is its history. Over 1,000 years ago, this was a powerful Viking settlement, a hub of trade and exploration. From these shores, ships set sail to conquer and connect, shaping not only Denmark's destiny but that of Europe. To walk through Roskilde today is to walk in the footsteps of those legendary seafarers. At the heart of this legacy is the Viking Ship Museum. Here, history feels alive. Inside, 5 original Viking ships are preserved, pulled from the depths of Roskilde Fjord, where they were deliberately sunk 1,000 years ago to block enemy fleets. Today, they stand as silent storytellers, revealing the craftsmanship, bravery, and daring of the Vikings who built them. Each plank, each nail, whispers tales of adventure and survival across unforgiving seas. But this museum is not just about looking, it's about experiencing. Outside, shipbuilders continue the Viking tradition, crafting full-scale replicas with the same tools and techniques used a millennium ago. Visitors can even sail on these reconstructed ships, feeling the wind in the sails, the wood beneath their feet, and the thrill of navigating the fjord, just as the Vikings once did. Few experiences connect us to history as powerfully as this. Yet Roskilde's story doesn't end with the Vikings. As Denmark transitioned from pagan warriors to Christian kings, Roskilde became the spiritual and political center of the kingdom. Rising proudly in the city's heart is Roskilde Cathedral, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the most important churches in Northern Europe. Built in the 12th and 13th centuries, this masterpiece of red brick is not only an architectural gem, it is the final resting place of nearly 40 Danish monarchs. Step inside, and the air shifts. Light filters through stained glass, illuminating towering vaults and intricately carved chapels. Here lie the kings and queens who shaped Denmark's destiny, from medieval rulers to modern monarchs. Their ornate tombs tell a story of power, faith, and continuity that stretches across centuries. Walking through the cathedral, is like walking through Denmark's royal family tree, a lineage preserved in stone and silence. Outside the cathedral, Roskilde's charm continues in its cobbled streets and colorful houses. The city may be ancient, but it is far from stuck in the past. It is a place where tradition and modern life coexist in harmony. The lively town square, with its markets and cafes, the perfect place to feel the pulse of the city. Students from Roskilde University add a youthful energy, balancing the weight of history with the spark of modern ideas. Roskilde is also a city of music. Every summer, the quiet streets transform into the stage for one of Europe's largest and most famous music festivals, the Roskilde Festival. What began in 1971 as a small gathering has become a global event, attracting artists and audiences from around the world. From rock legends to groundbreaking new performers, the festival is a celebration of creativity, community, and freedom, echoing the same adventurous spirit that once defined the Vikings. Beyond the city, Roskilde Fjord itself invites exploration. Calm waters stretch into the horizon, dotted with islands and wetlands rich with bird life. Kayaking, sailing, or simply walking along its shores reveals another side of Roskilde, a quieter, more natural beauty that complements the city's cultural treasures. What makes Roskilde truly remarkable is how seamlessly it weaves together its layers of identity. It is Viking ships and royal cathedrals. It is centuries-old cobblestones and the sound of modern music festivals. It is the roar of history and the rhythm of life today. Few places capture Denmark's story as completely as Roskilde. To stand here is to feel the journey of a nation, from fearless explorers to devout monarchs to a people who cherish both heritage and progress. Roskilde is not just a city. It is a symbol of Denmark's resilience, creativity, and continuity. From Roskilde's royal cathedrals and Viking legacies, our journey now moves westward, toward wide-open skies and windswept landscapes. Next, we discover Ribe, the oldest town in Denmark, where medieval streets, Viking tales, and timeless beauty await. Explore the UNESCO World Heritage Fortress in Helsingør, its history, Shakespeare's Hamlet, and its maritime importance. What if there was a place where time seemed to stand still, where every cobblestone whispers stories of the past, and where history surrounds you at every turn? That place is Ribe, Denmark's oldest town, and one of the most enchanting destinations in all of Scandinavia. Founded in the early 8th century, Ribe is more than 1,300 years old, making it not only Denmark's oldest town but also one of the oldest in all of Northern Europe. Once a thriving Viking marketplace and seaport, it was here that trade routes stretched across Europe, linking Denmark to the wider world. To walk through Ribe today is to feel those centuries of history beneath your feet. The heart of Ribe is its old town, a living museum of half-timbered houses, cobbled lanes, and winding alleys that look as though they were painted straight from a fairy tale. Every building seems to lean into the next, their wooden beams darkened with age, their roofs sloping in charming irregularity. Many of these homes date back to the Middle Ages, yet they are still alive with cafes, shops, and locals who carry on the traditions of their ancestors. Dominating the skyline is Ribe Cathedral, the oldest cathedral in Denmark. Built in the 12th century, it has been a place of worship for nearly 1,000 years. Its Romanesque and Gothic architecture is breathtaking, but the real magic lies in climbing the tower. From the top, you are rewarded with sweeping views of Ribe's rooftops, the surrounding marshlands, and the distant Wadden Sea. On a clear day, it feels as if you can see all the way back through time. Speaking of time, Ribe has one of the most fascinating traditions in Denmark, the Night Watchman's Tour. Every evening, as twilight falls, a man dressed in traditional black cloak and carrying a lantern walks the streets, singing songs and sharing tales of Ribe's past. It is not a performance, but a preservation of a tradition that has lasted since the 14th century, when watchmen patrolled the streets to keep the town safe. To follow him through the narrow alleys is to step into another century, guided by the glow of his lantern and the echoes of his voice. Ribe's Viking roots remain strong, too. The Ribe Viking Center is a living history museum that brings the Viking Age vividly back to life. Here, blacksmiths forge weapons, farmers tend animals, and storytellers share sagas by the fire. Visitors can even try archery, rowing Viking boats, or baking bread the old-fashioned way. It's not just about learning history, it's about living it. Ribe reminds us that the Vikings were not only warriors but also traders, farmers, and skilled craftsmen who shaped the foundation of Danish culture. Beyond its medieval streets, Ribe is also the gateway to one of Denmark's great natural treasures, the Odense National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This tidal flat ecosystem is one of the most important wetlands in the world, home to millions of migratory birds and unique wildlife. During spring and autumn, the sky fills with thousands of starlings in a mesmerizing display known as Sort Sol, the Black Sunday. Watching this vast murmuration swirl and twist across the horizon is an unforgettable natural wonder, as breathtaking as any cathedral or castle. Life in Ribe flows at a slower pace, inviting you to pause and soak in its charm. Sit in the town square with a coffee, listen to the sound of the cathedral bells, or wander through the local market where traditions have thrived for centuries. Ribe is not just about grand monuments, it's about small details. The creak of wooden doors, the scent of fresh bread, the sound of footsteps on stone streets. These are the textures of history, alive in every corner of the town. And yet, for all its history, Ribe is not frozen in time. The people here embrace their heritage while also welcoming the present. Festivals, music, events, and art exhibitions breathe new life into the town, ensuring that Ribe is not merely a relic of the past, but a vibrant part of modern Denmark. To visit Ribe is to experience a rare kind of magic. It is where the Viking spirit still lingers, where medieval traditions are alive, and where nature and history blend into a seamless whole. Few places in the world allow you to step so fully into another era, while still feeling the warmth and hospitality of today. From the timeless beauty of Ribe, our journey now turns toward the dramatic west coast of Denmark, where wind and sea have carved landscapes of raw, untamed power. Next, we venture to the Wadden Sea and the wild North Sea coast, where nature reigns supreme and Denmark's frontier spirit lives on. Cover Roskilde Cathedral, UNESCO site, Viking Ship Museum, and the famous Roskilde Festival. What if I told you there's a place where land, sea, and sky come together in a dance so wild, so untamed, that it changes with every tide? A place where you can walk on the ocean floor one moment and watch it vanish beneath the waves the next? Welcome to Denmark's west coast and the Wadden Sea, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and one of the most extraordinary natural wonders in all of Europe. Stretching along Denmark's southern coastline, the Wadden Sea is a tidal flat ecosystem unlike any other. Twice a day, the tide rolls in and out, revealing vast expanses of mudflats, sandbanks, and shallow waters. From above, it looks like an otherworldly painting, shifting patterns of silver and blue that reshape themselves endlessly. To walk across these tidal flats, barefoot in the soft mud, is to feel the pulse of nature beneath your feet. But the Wadden Sea is more than just a striking landscape, it is alive. This is one of the most important wetlands on Earth, serving as a stopover for millions of migratory birds. During spring and autumn, the skies explode with movement as flocks of geese, ducks, and waders gather here on their long journeys between the Arctic and Africa. The most mesmerizing of these displays is known as Sort Sol, or Black Sun, when thousands upon thousands of starlings create swirling patterns across the horizon at dusk. Watching this natural ballet is unforgettable, a moment where the boundary between earth and sky seems to dissolve. The Wadden Sea is also a haven for seals, porpoises, and countless marine creatures. Join a guided tour, and you might see seals basking lazily on sandbanks, or hear the squeak of porpoises breaking the waves. For nature lovers, this region is a paradise, a reminder that some of the greatest wonders of the world are not built by human hands but shaped by tides, winds, and time. Just beyond the tidal flats, the raw power of the North Sea takes over. Here, the coastline is wild, windswept, and endlessly dramatic. Towering sand dunes roll like frozen waves, stretching for kilometers, while vast beaches disappear into the horizon. The air smells of salt and sea spray, and the sound of crashing waves fills your ears. This is Denmark's frontier, the place where nature still rules, and where humans live in harmony with the elements. One of the most remarkable spots along this coast is the migrating sand dune of Roskilde Mile. This giant dune, covering nearly 2 square kilometers, slowly moves across the landscape, pushed by the relentless winds of the North Sea. It swallows everything in its path, fields, forests, even roads, reminding us that nature is always in motion, always reshaping the world around us. The North Sea coast is also home to the fishing villages that define Denmark's maritime heritage. Towns like Esbjerg, Fide Sande, and Thiberon are built on the edge of land and sea, where fishermen head out each morning into the rough waters, continuing a way of life that has endured for centuries. Wooden boats bob in the harbors, fish markets overflow with the day's catch, and the rhythm of the ocean sets the pace of daily life. But the coast is not just about hard work, it is also about joy. This region is Denmark's playground for adventure and relaxation. In summer, the beaches come alive with families, swimmers, and sandcastle builders, while surfers ride the crashing waves. In winter, the coast transforms into a place of solitude, where long walks across the windswept sand offer peace and reflection. Year-round, the sunsets here are spectacular. The sun dipping into the endless sea, painting the sky with fiery streaks of orange and gold. For those who crave wilderness, the Thy National Park, the country's first national park, is a must-see. Sprawling across dunes, heathlands, lakes, and forests, it is often called Denmark's last wilderness. Wild deer roam freely, rare birds nest among the grasses, and the landscape stretches on in quiet majesty. It is a place where you can feel truly immersed in nature, far from the bustle of cities and towns. What makes Denmark's west coast so special is its rawness. It is not manicured or tamed, it is wild, untamed, and constantly changing. Every tide brings something new. Every season paints the landscape differently. To be here is to understand the power of the natural world, and to feel humbled by its scale. The Wadden Sea and the North Sea coast are reminders that Denmark's wonders are not only in its castles, cathedrals, or cities, but also in the rhythms of the earth itself. It is here that you see the eternal balance of life between land and sea, past and present, fragility and strength. From the roaring waves and shifting sands of the west coast, our journey now turns toward Denmark's far north, a land of 2 seas, dramatic cliffs, and a lighthouse standing watch over it all. Next, we travel to Skagen, where the Baltic and North Sea meet in a spectacular display of nature's power. Highlight Grennen, meeting point of North Sea and Baltic Sea. Skagen's golden light inspiring artists, and the town's coastal charm. At the very tip of Denmark, where the land narrows into a windswept finger pointing toward infinity, something extraordinary happens. Here, 2 mighty seas meet, the North Sea and the Baltic Sea, and their waters crash together in a restless, swirling dance. This is Skagen, Denmark's northernmost point, a place where nature performs a spectacle unlike anywhere else in the world. Imagine standing barefoot on a long stretch of golden sand, the wind whipping your hair, the roar of the ocean echoing in your ears. As you look out, you see 2 seas colliding, the dark, brooding waters of the North Sea pushing against the calmer, lighter waters of the Baltic. They never truly mix. Instead, they clash and churn, forming visible lines of separation that shift and shimmer like liquid boundaries. To walk to this meeting point, called Grennen, is to stand on the edge of the continent itself, where land gives way to eternity, and where the sea tells its timeless story. But Skagen is more than just the meeting of seas. It is a town steeped in history, culture, and light. Known as the land of painters, Skagen has long attracted artists who sought to capture its unique beauty. In the late 19th century, a group of Scandinavian painters, known as the Skagen painters, flocked here. Inspired by the dazzling northern light, the endless beaches, and the lives of the local fishermen, their works transformed Skagen into an artistic haven. And today, visitors can step into this legacy at the Skagen's Museum, where their masterpieces still glow with life and color. Walking through Skagen itself feels like stepping into a postcard. Brightly painted yellow houses with red tiled roofs line the streets, their charm amplified by flower-filled gardens and white picket fences. The harbor is alive, with fishing boats and seafood restaurants serving the freshest catches of the day: shrimp, herring, and lobster straight from the sea. Sitting on the pier with a plate of freshly cooked seafood, watching the boats sway gently in the harbor, you can feel the heartbeat of this seaside town. But to truly experience Skagen, you must embrace its landscapes. Just outside the town lies Råbjerg Mile, Europe's largest migrating sand dune, towering up to 40 meters high and stretching for kilometers. This dune moves slowly across the land, pushed by the relentless North Sea winds. Climb to its peak, and you'll find yourself surrounded by a desert-like sea of sand, an otherworldly sight. In the heart of Denmark, the dune swallows forests, fields, and even roads, reminding us of nature's unstoppable power. Equally fascinating is the buried church, or Den Tilsendere Kirke. Once one of the largest churches in the region, it was consumed by drifting sands in the 18th century, leaving only the tower visible above the dunes. Today, it stands as a haunting reminder of the struggle between man and nature, a story told in stone and sand. For those who crave the raw power of the sea, Skagen's coastlines are a dream. Miles of windswept beaches stretch in every direction, where kite surfers leap across the waves and walkers wander in quiet solitude. In summer, the beaches are alive with visitors soaking in the sun, while in winter, the wild winds and crashing waves paint a far more dramatic picture. Each season here feels different, yet all are unforgettable. And then there is the light, Skagen's most enduring treasure. It is a light that artists and poets have tried to capture for centuries, but one that must be experienced to be understood. Bright, sharp, and endlessly shifting, it seems to make the sand glow golden, the sea shimmer silver, and the skies blaze with color. Sunsets here are unlike anywhere else, as the sun sinks into the horizon and the sky becomes a canvas of fire, purple, and gold. Skagen is also a place of deep tranquility. For all its wildness, it offers moments of stillness, walking along the shoreline at dawn. The only sounds, the gulls above and the waves at your feet, or standing at Grennen as the seas meet, reflecting on the eternal cycles of nature. It is a place that reminds us of both our smallness and our connection to the world around us. But Skagen is not just a place to visit, it is a place to feel. It is the feeling of salt on your skin, of wind in your hair, of the earth beneath your feet. It is the awe of watching two seas collide and knowing you are standing at the edge of something timeless. It is the joy of simple moments, eating fresh seafood by the harbor, cycling through the dunes, or watching the northern light dance across the sky. Skagen is Denmark at its most elemental, a meeting point not only of seas, but of art, history, and nature. To come here is to step into a story that is still being written, shaped by winds, tides, and time. And from this northern tip of wonder, our journey now moves inland, toward Denmark's beating heart, its capital city. Next, we explore Copenhagen, a city of canals, castles, and culture, where history meets innovation in a way only Denmark can deliver. Explore round churches, cliffs, sandy beaches, smoked herring, and the medieval fortress Hammershus. Far out in the Baltic Sea, surrounded by waves that shimmer under the northern sun, lies a place unlike anywhere else in Denmark. An island where rugged cliffs meet sandy beaches, where medieval fortresses stand guard above the sea, and where time seems to move at its own gentle pace. This is Bornholm, Denmark's hidden treasure, a Baltic paradise that feels both remote and yet deeply connected to the country's spirit. Imagine approaching Bornholm by ferry, the sea breeze brushing your face as the island slowly rises from the horizon. The first glimpse reveals dramatic landscapes, rocky coastlines, lush forests, and charming villages with smoke rising from old chimneys. Known as the Sunshine Island because of its bright and mild climate, Bornholm is a world of contrasts. Wild nature on one side, cozy coastal towns on the other. One of Bornholm's most striking sights is Hammershus, the largest medieval fortress in northern Europe. Perched high on a cliff overlooking the Baltic, its ruins tell stories of power, politics, and war. Built in the 13th century, Hammershus was once a stronghold of kings and bishops, guarding trade routes and watching over the seas. Walking through its massive stone walls, you can almost hear echoes of knights, whispers of medieval plots, and the clash of armies long gone. Today, the fortress is a breathtaking reminder of Denmark's past. Its crumbling towers silhouetted against skies that turn gold at sunset. But Bornholm is not only about fortresses, it is a place of mystery, too. Scattered across the island are 4 unique, round churches, unlike anything else in Denmark. Their thick stone walls and circular designs give them an almost otherworldly presence. Historians believe they served not only as places of worship, but also as fortifications, protecting the island's people during times of war. Stepping inside, you feel an immediate sense of stillness and strength, as though centuries of faith and resilience are built into every stone. Beyond history, Bornholm is a haven of natural wonders. On the northern coast lies the Hammernuden Cliff, where hiking trails lead across rocky landscapes that plunge dramatically into the sea. To the east, the Dundalen waterfall cascades through a lush valley, Denmark's highest waterfall hidden in the quiet embrace of the forest. And on the southern shores, white, sandy beaches stretch endlessly, especially Duode Beach, where the sand is so fine it was once used in hourglasses. Standing there, with the Baltic stretching to infinity and the sky glowing in shades of blue, you understand why Bornholm is called the Pearl of the Baltic. But Bornholm's magic lies not only in its landscapes, but in its way of life. The island is famous for its smoked herring, prepared in traditional smokehouses that dot the villages. Step inside one, and you'll be welcomed by the rich aroma of fish, smoked over alderwood, a taste that has defined Bornholm for generations. Sitting by the harbor with a plate of freshly smoked herring, rye bread, and chives, you taste not just food, but history itself. The island is also an artist's sanctuary. For centuries, painters, sculptors, and craftsmen have been drawn to Bornholm's light, the same clear, soft light that gave Skagen its artistic legacy. In tiny studios and galleries across the island, artists continue to shape clay, glass, and wood into works that reflect the island's natural beauty. This artistic spirit has made Bornholm a hub of creativity, where tradition and innovation blend seamlessly. And then, there is the peace. Unlike Denmark's bustling cities, Bornholm feels like another world, a place where you can slow down, cycle through quiet country roads, or walk along coastal paths with nothing but the sound of waves for company. The island invites you to breathe, to pause, and to connect with nature in its purest form. As night falls, Bornholm reveals yet another wonder. Away from the glow of cities, its skies open wide, filled with stars that shimmer brilliantly over the sea. Standing on the cliffs, with the ruins of Hammershus silhouetted against the cosmos, you feel the weight of time, the beauty of solitude, and the endless possibilities of the horizon. Bornholm is more than just an island. It is a story written in stone and sand, in smoke and salt, in faith and creativity. It is Denmark's gift to the Baltic, a place where history whispers, nature astonishes, and life moves with a gentler rhythm. And as our journey continues, we leave the island behind and return to Denmark's heartland. From medieval fortresses and Baltic sunsets, we now travel to the royal palaces and green countrysides that define the soul of this kingdom. Next, we explore the timeless beauty of Denmark's countryside and its majestic castles, symbols of power, elegance, and tradition that continue to shape its story. Cover Egeskov Castle, Frederiksborg Castle, lush farmlands, and Denmark's cycling culture. Beyond the lively cities and windswept coasts, Denmark reveals a softer, more timeless beauty, its countryside. Rolling green fields, golden farmlands, quiet villages, and winding country roads create a landscape that feels like a painting. Here, history lingers not only in the land itself, but also in the majestic castles and manor houses that rise from it, each one a symbol of Denmark's royal past and enduring heritage. To journey through Denmark's countryside is to step into a story where kings and queens, farmers and fishermen, all played a part in shaping the nation's identity. The Danish countryside is often described as peaceful, yet beneath its calm lies centuries of tradition. Imagine cycling along a quiet country road, the sound of birdsong in the air, windmills turning gently on the horizon, and fields stretching as far as the eye can see. Denmark is a nation of cyclists, and nowhere is this more evident than in the rural heartlands, where locals and travelers alike ride through landscapes unchanged for generations. Along the way, you encounter quaint thatched roof houses, small farm shops selling fresh produce, and country churches standing proudly as beacons of community life. Amid this natural beauty, castles rise like guardians of history. One of the most enchanting is Frederiksborg Castle, often called the Danish Versailles, located in Hillerød. Surrounded by a shimmering lake and lush Baroque gardens, Frederiksborg is the largest Renaissance castle in Scandinavia. Built in the early 17th century by King Christian IV, it was designed to showcase Denmark's wealth and power. Today, walking through its opulent halls and grand ballrooms feels like stepping into another age, where the walls themselves whisper stories of royal banquets, political intrigue, and centuries of art and culture. Equally breathtaking is Egeskov Castle, one of Europe's best preserved Renaissance water castles. Nestled on the island of Funen, it seems to float above the surface of its surrounding moat, reflected in the glassy water like a fairy tale vision. Built in 1554, Egeskov was designed not only as a noble residence, but also as a fortress, with hidden passageways and defensive towers. Today, its magic lies not only in its stunning architecture, but also in its expansive gardens, mazes, and exhibitions. Visiting Egeskov feels like walking into a fairy tale, where every turn of the garden path reveals another wonder. Denmark's castles are not just about grandeur, they also tell stories of resilience. Many have witnessed wars, sieges, and dramatic events that shape the nation's course. Rosenborg Castle in Copenhagen, though smaller, holds Denmark's crown jewels and treasures, symbols of power that remind us of the monarchy's enduring role in Danish life. Each castle, from the mighty Kronborg to the hidden gems of the countryside, reflects the layers of Denmark's history, blending elegance with strength. Yet the countryside offers more than castles. It is a world of living traditions. Denmark's farms are at the heart of its culture, producing everything from dairy to grains to the ingredients that power its world-renowned cuisine. Rural markets and festivals bring communities together, celebrating the rhythm of the seasons. The landscape itself is part of Danish identity, an open, welcoming space where simplicity and beauty go hand in hand. And then there is the atmosphere, something uniquely Danish. The concept of hygge, a sense of coziness, comfort, and togetherness, feels most alive in the countryside. Picture sitting in a farmhouse kitchen as the fire crackles in the hearth, sharing homemade food with family and friends while the world outside grows quiet under the evening sky. This feeling, intangible yet powerful, is at the heart of Danish life. To explore Denmark's countryside is also to discover its hidden corners, forest trails that lead to tranquil lakes, windswept meadows dotted with wildflowers, and quiet coastal inlets where fishermen still mend their nets. These places may not be marked on every map, but they form the soul of the nation, a reminder that beauty often lies in simplicity. As the sun sets over the fields, casting the land in golden light, the castles glow like embers of the past, keeping their silent watch. The countryside, with its blend of history and nature, is not only a backdrop, but a living part of Denmark's story, one that continues to inspire, comfort, and connect. And now, as our journey through Denmark draws closer to its conclusion, we turn to the present and the future. Beyond castles and coastlines, Denmark is a nation of design, innovation, and ideas that shape the world. In our final chapter, we explore how modern Denmark combines tradition with forward-thinking vision and why it is celebrated as one of the happiest and most innovative countries on earth. Highlight Copenhagen's modern architecture, opera house, royal library, Danish design, renewable energy, and lifestyle concepts like hygge and legacies. What makes a country not only beautiful to visit, but also one of the happiest places on earth to live? What secret lies at the heart of a nation that blends centuries of history with a vision for the future? In Denmark, the answer is everywhere in the way cities are designed, in the innovation that powers daily life, and in the lifestyle that values simplicity, balance, and joy. This is modern Denmark, a land where tradition meets progress, and where the future feels not just possible, but already alive. Step into Copenhagen, and you see it immediately. The city feels both historic and futuristic, where medieval spires rise above sleek glass buildings and waterfront promenades. The Copenhagen Opera House, one of the most modern in the world, stands as a symbol of Denmark's dedication to culture and creativity. Nearby, the Royal Library, known as the Black Diamond, gleams against the harbor, its sharp lines a bold contrast to the centuries-old castles and churches that surround it. This harmony of old and new is at the heart of Danish design. Denmark has become a global leader in architecture and urban planning. Buildings are not only beautiful, but also functional and sustainable, designed with people and the planet in mind. Cycling lanes stretch across every city, wind turbines spin gracefully on the horizon, and entire neighborhoods, like Copenhagen's Ørestad, showcase futuristic designs that balance innovation with green living. Here, architecture is not just about structures, it is about creating communities that foster happiness, health, and connection. But Denmark's modern wonders are not limited to architecture. It is also a nation at the forefront of renewable energy. Wind power alone provides more than half of the country's electricity, and ambitious goals aim to make Denmark one of the world's first carbon-neutral nations. Offshore wind farms stand like sentinels in the sea, symbols of a future shaped by clean energy and respect for nature. Traveling through Denmark, you see this vision everywhere. Solar panels on homes, eco-friendly public transport, and cities where sustainability is not just an idea, but a way of life. Yet perhaps Denmark's greatest contribution to the modern world is not technology, but philosophy. The Danish lifestyle has become famous for hygge, a word that captures the essence of comfort, coziness, and togetherness. But there is more than hygge, there is legacies, the pursuit of happiness, and arbeidsglæde, the joy of work. These concepts shape not only personal lives, but also public policy. Work-life balance, social equality, and community well-being are central to how Denmark thrives. It is no surprise that year after year, the country ranks among the happiest in the world. In daily life, you see this everywhere. Families gathering for simple dinners lit by candlelight, friends cycling together through city streets, children playing freely in safe neighborhoods. Denmark's secret is not in doing more, but in doing less, focusing on what truly matters: connection, health, and harmony with nature. Of course, Denmark also shines in innovation. It is the birthplace of world-famous brands in design, fashion, and technology. Danish furniture and interior design, celebrated for its minimalism and elegance, has shaped homes across the globe. From Lego, the timeless toy that continues to spark creativity worldwide, to cutting-edge biotech companies shaping the future of health, Denmark proves that a small nation can have a big impact. And yeah, for all its modern achievements, Denmark never loses sight of its roots. Castles, traditions, and history still stand strong, woven seamlessly into the present. Festivals, folk music, and royal ceremonies continue alongside groundbreaking art, food, and architecture. This balance between past and future, nature and innovation, simplicity and ambition, is what makes Denmark truly unique. As we look back on our journey across this remarkable land, from Copenhagen's canals to Bornholm's cliffs, from Viking ships to royal castles, from windswept beaches to futuristic cities, one truth becomes clear: Denmark is more than a destination. It is an experience of harmony between people, history, and the natural world. Standing at the edge of the harbor in Copenhagen as the sun sets, you see the old city bathed in golden light, while modern towers glow in the distance. The sea reflects both, reminding you that Denmark's story is one of continuity. It is a story of a nation that honors its past, embraces its present, and shapes its future with vision and care. This is modern Denmark, a land of design, innovation, happiness, and balance. A land where castles meet wind turbines, where history meets progress, and where every visitor is invited to feel not just inspired, but renewed. And so, our journey comes to an end, but the story of Denmark continues. For those who dream of fairy tales, who long for peace, who seek inspiration, and who believe in a brighter tomorrow, Denmark waits, ready to welcome you into its timeless embrace. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels and see you in the next video.